Hey, 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 you all see him. It is your boy, your homie, Damien Howard here for episode seven of Village Talks. I mean, seven. Oh man, that number has some spiritual significance. I ain't even see it. It must be my guest who's on here with me that got me thinking like that. But y'all, we are here with Village Talks just to remind you all what we firmly believe is that it does take a village to raise our children. But even beyond that, when the village comes together, namely nonprofit sector, mentor organizations, schools, mamas and papas, and the people from the business sector, when we come together, we can do a beautiful thing to be a blessing to our cities. The power and the synergistic energy that's created when multiple entities come together towards a shared goal, man, there's no limit, I don't believe, to what can be accomplished. So that's what we're getting after in Village Talks. And I tell y'all, today I actually have one of my good friends here. Clement, who you all will meet in a moment, he's going to give his bio and he's going to talk in a moment, is actually one of the people who serves as an accountability partner for me. Somebody who's always sharing resources with me, somebody who's always low key when I see him in person, just offering up that encouragement. So, as somebody who's in the entrepreneurial space, I'm trying to start things, many of them new things. To have people like Clement on my side who rock with me, who encourage me, is a beautiful thing. Brother, jump in here, bro. Give your bio, say whatever you want to say on the front end, please.
Damien, thanks for having me. I'm so excited for this conversation. As you mentioned, I'm Clement Townsend, founder of Video Pro Learning. We are a software as a service educational platform. And what I like to say is we are like ways for math, detecting where students are off track and rerouting them back to grade level mastery. So we're all about supporting schools and teachers that have students that are below grade level in math. That's an issue across the board, certainly in Chicago and across the country, students that are 2 and 3 years behind in math. Prior to that, I was in sports broadcasting for 17 years. So this is quite a left turn for me in terms of my career, but God called me from sports broadcasting to apply some of my skills in a different arena. I still work in school. So this is a problem that's very near and dear to my heart. So after I wrapped up sports broadcasting, I started doing digital media programming in schools. I've done that for the last 7 years. I still do that now. That keeps me in close proximity with students and teachers. And that's how I came across this problem. Like I would see so many students who were super motivated, engaged, they were creating content. And I asked them, were they having the same enthusiasm in the classroom? And did they have the opportunity to make videos, create content? They were like, no, Mr. Townsend, we don't, Mr. Townsend. So I'm like, well, how can we start to bring the same motivation to the classroom? And then I found out that math was particularly an area where students had a hatred or disengaged and things of that nature. So that led me to Video Pro Learning and where I am today. And we've been building that for the last 2.5 years in a couple of schools already and want to continue to grow and support students in that subject matter.
One thing that stood out as you were sharing is the fact that Video Pro Learning was birthed out of a need and a problem that you saw.
For sure.
And even as we started talking about that, you were only able to see the problem because you were proximate. You
For sure.
were close to a population that you cared about, namely young people. And I'm assuming here in Chicago, like in the Chicagoland area.
Absolutely. On the south and the west side of Chicago. Yep.
Let's talk about it. You hear me? So, y'all, listen. It's just something, bro, that grinds my gears because so many, you and I, bro, like we're in a lot of innovation spaces, seeing a lot of people who are building products. And I just think that it hits different when we got somebody like you who this is all birth out of the fact that I'm in these classrooms, I'm in these schools, I'm talking to these young people versus me reading an analytics report, right? And it's saying, this is what I think is the problem in contemporaneous education. And yeah, bro, like, yeah, I get it. A lot of the folks on that other side, they might have the resources, but you coming with the intimate knowledge and, like I said, being proximate to it, that just hit different, bro. So I don't know. Like I want you to even be able to speak more to that. Like like that journey and what that was really like for you to be in a space and not only sense a need, but the entrepreneurial energy started percolating, and for you to say, I'm gonna build something to meet that need.
So honestly, it's a faith walk.
Mm,
I do not have a business degree. I have a communications degree. I'm not a computer scientist or a computer programmer. So in terms of developing software, like that was something I had to learn on the job. But again, I saw the light bulb moments. I saw the excitement with students. And then I started working with teachers in Chicago and
mm,
I saw some similar results. And I knew this couldn't just stay, only on the South Side. It couldn't just stay in Chicago. Like it had to expand, it had to grow bigger. So I'll give a case in point. This is a real recent interaction that I had. There
mhm,
was a young man who had some anger issues. So I come in during like the prep period a lot of times when I'm doing my program. And sometimes during prep periods, students get a little bit of free time on the computer, maybe playing games. So when they see Mr. Townsend coming, they not always super excited because we actually about to do some work. But I'm like, give it a chance. You don't know what this is going to be like. And that young man, who knows how his day was going prior to meeting Mr. Townsend, but he had some issues, walked out the classroom and didn't want to complete the assignment.
mm.
Okay, that happens. Like you just never know what is happening in that student's world, what's happening outside, what they bring into the school in the classroom. But fast forward to the next Wednesday session when I told the young man, hey, last week was last week, fresh start, new day. We're creating this video project and I'm here to help you. I'm here to assist you. It was him and another young man this very next Wednesday
Mm,
for an hour. They were dialed in, Damien,
mm.
because the project, the opportunity to create, we were talking about goal setting, and
Yeah.
they had a chance to put their goals down. How can I be a better leader? What do they want to be when they grow up? A soccer player, a football player, express that in video. Like that resonated with them. Like, we live in a society that's full of media. So I say that to say, I've seen what it looks like to change the engagement, the enthusiasm when students have tasks, when they have assignments, projects that they feel like are relevant to them and that
Yeah.
they feel like matter to them. From 1 week to a student that had anger issues and
Walked out
outbursts,
of your class, by the way.
walked out the class. I won't even say what grade this is because,
Yeah.
again, it was a lower grade.
Yeah.
No student should ever walk out of a class.
Right.
But it was very disappointing to have such a young student in a young grade walk out the class. But the next week, though, when we gave him a fresh start and
Mhm.
told him we believed in him, really tried to build up his self-confidence and then presented the assignment again and he found relevance in it, he completed the assignment. So when you see things like that happen, like there's no other choice but to continue to move forward. There's no other choice but to continue working hard and trying to have more impact and impact more students and grow and scale. That's how we got here. But I don't have a tech background.
Mm.
I don't have a Harvard degree. I don't have the Ivy League connections that some of those type of people might have. But what I do have is faith, which goes a long way. I do have drive, and I'm passionate about making an impact with young people, and I'm willing to be persistent. Whatever the obstacles may be, whatever the challenges are, like I'm willing to put in that work because it matters so much to make an impact in the lives of young people, to see them be successful. And let me say this, not only be successful, but to see them have high earning potential. How about
Mhm.
that? How about we go there? Because it's
Beautiful.
one thing to have, a pretty good life. But when we talk about our people, minorities, and I'm talking about media, but also math, there have been some studies that have been done that show when students are able to increase their math proficiency, it increases their adult earning potential.
Ah,
So, like, this matters, a whole lot in terms of what their future looks like and their quality of life.
bro, I am literally gonna have to link your Venmo, Cash App, your Zelle information, something as a part of me blasting this in different spaces so people can like give to your ministry because in a real way, you just drop so many atomic bombs, blowing this thing up, boom, boom, boom. All bro, that was amazing, bro. And just so fruitful and helpful to my soul. You just fed me in that moment because I think oftentimes we could give so many excuses and make those allow those excuses to be non-starters. Talk about what I don't have. Take a perspective of how bro, I grew up on 79th Street. You understand what they call it? Killer Ward. What's up? Couldn't even barely go to other blocks. I had to literally stay on my block. So I come from nothing, come from the dirt. But to your point, when you got a passion and you got something that God put in you, a fire and an energy that can't nobody, like
Can't
extinguish
extinguish.
that fire. There's the oust that fire. They like when that's in you, bro. Like you get over the excuses. You work and trek beyond those, and that's what I'm hearing when I hear you. So, like I said, bro, not only did you minister, but you're giving me the words to help me to even do my little ministry part. So this is a beautiful thing. I want to use language to call out something that I sensed as you were sharing a moment ago. It's the word agency, right? This young person that we spoke of, and we're going to stick with him. We'll call him James for the sake of this conversation. 1 week walks out of the classroom, don't want nothing to do with the classroom. This is supposed to be my free time. Why are y'all coming with instruction? And then you come in that space and say, listen, this isn't just me giving you something to do. I'm inviting you to a process that is engaging you in creating something, engaging you in kind of thinking through like what might you want to create based on what you create, how might this be helpful for your peers? That's agency. And when kids, I think, experience, matter of fact, not just I think, there's research that supports this. My space is social and emotional learning. And Castle said it can't just be about how we've been doing SEL for decades. Let's think of how to put equity at the center of what we're talking about with SEL. And one of the things that they amplify is this thing that you do. It's agency. Because if the kid voice and they don't feel empowered and all of that isn't a part of the equation, then it's hard to keep them engaged and it's hard to get their buy-in over time. And it sounds like this is exactly what you're doing. And by the way, for the village that's watching this, I just want to remind y'all that every time we come on these segments, again, they're nuggets, they're tools, there's an equipping, there's an education that's happening. So I hope y'all are not missing it. I want to take this a step further. You showing up how you show up with that energy, with that passion, with that willingness to not use the wall as a deterrent, but to either climb over that wall or plow through it if you have to. You being somebody who has the lived experience of I didn't build this tool just based on reading a book. I built this tool because I know that this is a real problem. Why isn't your tool in every school in Chicago?
That's a tough question. That's a tough
Hmm.
question. Obviously, we're still an early stage company.
Okay.
So, I guess they say Rome wasn't built overnight. And then I think it's an awareness issue as well. So, as I've probably worked with more than 20 schools in Chicago. Some of that has to do with me going back to reestablish those connections. And as you know, from like working with different schools, sometimes administration changes and personnel changes. So whereas you work with one school and had connections, when new personnel comes in, you don't necessarily have the same relationships. But I think as I continue to develop the platform, the software, and I continue to build relationships, that is the goal. Like, there are some platforms out there, but I don't think they provide what our students need, minorities, specifically in the math space. So to answer your question, it's just a process. We're a young company. So again, just a couple of years in, but a couple of years from now, fast forward, it should be. I hope so. That's what we're aiming for.
I'm, 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 gonna push you a little bit because for whatever reason, I don't feel like the landing of opportunities is always equitable. And by the way, I'm not making this a race thing. I'm not making it a socioeconomic thing. It's just what I believe, and it's been my lived experience. And part of that, and I hear you taking some ownership there. There's certain development that Damien needs to take on in order to be prepared to get investment, in
For
order
sure.
to have my technology prepared to be investable. But at the same time, bro, I see people writing ideas on the back of something. You understand? They'll be like this. Hold on, hold on. And then show somebody the stick figure, like, okay, there it is. And they'll be like, oh, I'm about to put 500K on that. You understand? Oh, I'm about to drop you 1 million. And I'm just like, wow, bro. So I don't know. I guess a question, because this is Village Talks. I want you to give some coaching, Clement, on how can the village do a better job of making resourcing more equitable when it comes to people like you and I who got all of the passion in the world, and we're sitting on things that can be very helpful, particularly to kids that look like us or look like we looked when we were younger, but sometimes just kind of feel like, the resources aren't flowing as we would hope they could be. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I just think that, some people of the village that do have the resources really need to be open to maybe people that don't have a specific pattern. I guess I would say it like that.
Mm,
I believe you and I are solo founders. In terms of, we might have contractors and people that work with us, but not necessarily a co-founder. So again, as I move in the technology space, in the entrepreneurial space, when people are looking for investable folks, sometimes they're looking for co-founders. Do you have two people
mm,
and things of that nature? So what I say is, are they willing to break outside the mold, or willing to invest or provide resources for people who don't necessarily fit the exact pattern that they had hoped for, but knowing this is our lived experience, knowing that we are more than capable of building a team, knowing that we're more than capable of executing. The only thing that we need is like the resources. I don't know about you, but like, I don't have friends and family like that,
oh wow.
that can just go ahead and give me the friends and family round, like kind of in the tech space. It's like, oh, the friends and family round, go out and try to get the first money from them. That's not an option. That's not an option. So, for people to do early investing, yeah, I think that's very important for people like us to have those opportunities, to be able to grow and develop and really, really have a shot. I'll say this because you put us on this topic. When it comes to technology, people talk about building a minimum viable product, a MVP. And what I've come to know, especially when you're in education, like, you can't really put a MVP in a school like that. Like, your product has to be to a certain level, just like for table stakes, just to even like get in the game. So when people talk about MVP, you could spin something up real quick for a couple $1,000s. Like, there's a divide between, yeah, MVP prototype, what people can see, and actually being able to try to put something in a school that you really need to invest some money in development. Like, those, like, there's a divide there, and that divide is like a funding divide. And I've talked with some people about that. And yeah, that's an area that I'm overcoming. That's an area that I'm overcoming. And again, as we continue to work, though, as we continue to show up, as we continue to build relationships, and as we continue to not be deterred and not take no for an answer and persevere, our funding will show up, though, for sure.
Come on, Faith. Come on, Faith without words. Come on, Faith. I love it. It sounds like a part of what you were hinting on, which is something I talk about a lot, are the research and development dollars that are
What
necessary.
is that? What is that? I've never seen those. Never seen those.
Yeah, me either, but I know it's necessary. It's
And they're
just
out
like,
there. They're out there. I'm not saying they're not out there. I
yeah,
never see
okay. Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm going to schools and they talking I'm too early. It's almost like when I was trying to get that car and I ain't had no, credit yet. And they just like, you can't get the car until you go, well, I'm like, I need the car to get the credit. You understand? So yeah, no, I am grateful and thankful for some of these incubators and accelerator opportunities that I've been a part of that, have at least helped me to keep the doors open thus far. And I do have to give you an update because you're my brother, but I haven't shared this with you. But I do have a co-founder at this point in time now.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
yeah,
But listen,
yeah,
that's amazing though. Like
yeah.
that's much needed because as I was talking about though, when people are looking at investable businesses, they want to know, do you have a co-founder? So kudos to you on that sort of thing. You are taking major steps forward in the right direction, no doubt about it.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I felt like just naturally this conversation, which was extremely fruitful, extremely value adding, it didn't necessarily follow like a linear path, and that's okay. That's what we do here in Village Talks. We allow this to organically flow to where it needs to go. And we know without doubt, again, the audience, the village got a lot of value and a lot of nuggets based on how you showed up today. But now, what I want to do, Clement, is give you the magic wand. I give every guest the magic wand. I can't get off the segment until you get this wand, right? So, you are equipped with this wand that gives you the opportunity, affords you the ability to change one thing as it pertains to your work, as it pertains to something that you've observed, that if this barrier wasn't in the way, or if this is something that we can see like sizable improvement on, then it could be a game changer. I just wonder what comes to mind for you now, you being equipped with your magic wand.
Yeah, so for me, that would just be awareness. That's why I'm so grateful that you allowed me to come on your platform and do this podcast because that allows other people to know the work that we're doing with Video Pro Learning. I feel like a lot of businesses don't make it not because they didn't have a great product, but because not enough people knew about it. If you sell the best hamburgers in the world, if Selfie is the best product or Video Pro Learning is the best product, but schools are like, I've never heard of that. I've never been introduced to it. I've never seen it on social media. I've never seen any type of postcards in the mail or flyers or any type of literature about it, then they can't actually take advantage of, support, or utilize our product, our platform. So for me, the magic wand would just be, having the resources, the personnel, the help, the employees to really go all in on awareness. Like, what does it look like to have an amazing campaign? Like, McDonald's might not have the best hamburgers, but people know the golden arches. Like, they're always having campaigns and marketing. So that would be the thing for me, not even necessarily funding, but how can I get the word out? How can people know far and wide about the amazing software platform that we have to support students in math to make a difference for their adult earning potential.
Yeah, Clement, I'm so grateful that you shared that because the community that is leaning in and watching this mostly includes like nonprofit leaders, folks who kind of are doing something in the space of mentoring, be it in school or out of school. And what you just said might not even necessarily be top of mind for people, but when we are in instances where we feel like we could have more or why aren't things landing, many times it's nothing nefarious happening. People just don't know you exist. They don't know about your stuff. And the reason I'm excited that you shared that towards the end of this segment, because I think that as well, thinking of other folks who show up in this village, other folks who show up watching these podcasts, there are some folks who have capacity to give in-kind support to say, man, I love what I'm hearing about Video Pro Learning. And I have the ability to not only give like strategy support, which is good, but come on and say, man, I can give you 5 hours a week and help you to have a super effective campaign. Let's get the word out. So, man, I'm just excited for us to come. And I know it's coming because your faith mandates such. Like everything you've been saying on this call was just like, bro, I'm 2 years. Look at me now. You understand? Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm high. People. Yeah, no. So this has been fascinating. This has been encouraging, uplifting for me, as I know it's been for our viewing audience.
Can I give a shout out? Can I give a shout out to the village though?
Okay, so this is what I'm going to ask.
Yep.
You got the parting words. Again, I'm gonna say a little something on the back end. But yeah, the shout out to the village. In addition to that, again, just on the whole video pro learning side, if there's something that you want us to know about, just any sense of commercial that's there, parting words, bro, you got it.
Yep. So I would just say the village is so important. Whether it's somebody that's providing software or education in schools or that out of school time, those wraparound services, like it's all needed. You know, in Chicago, a lot of young people, they need support. So it takes the work of everybody. Just you and I, as much as we talk about impact and scale, cannot support all the young people that need help in the city of Chicago and beyond. So
Yeah.
it takes a village. So I'm always open to partnerships and collaboration because we all need each other to make this impact. And as far as Video Pro Learning, if there are any connections relative to schools or teachers, that would be helpful, or also any connections with nonprofits. I'm sure there's some nonprofits that might do academic enrichment and they're looking for like supplemental support for students in terms of what they're doing with school, or just trying to, give them extra practice or extra enrichment. So I love for those connections. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Like that's the best way to find me, Clement Townsend on LinkedIn, or sending me an email, videoprolearning@gmail.com. I'm quick to respond and always great and always open to chat with folks about making an impact with youth. Man, I'm happy to be a part of the village, and I believe in the importance of the village.
Yo, 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 listen, I know I've said it multiple times, but I trust that everybody got something out of this episode. It is episode 7 already of Village Talks. And again, there's something to be said about that being 7. When we had Clement on here on the 7th episode, this is bringing not only some sense of completion to us really now being able to see that this is a viable idea. We need to keep going on with these things. And whoever's coming for 8, you're about to be new beginnings. So we're going to just send you some positive energy off the top. Hey, that's all I got for y'all today. I don't have to say much more because it was already said. We already got so much value. So if you have comments, thoughts, you want to be on a future segment, wherever you're watching this, be it Spotify, YouTube, or on one of our social media channels, just go ahead below. Let us know you want to be here. We'll get you in on the segment. Let us know if there's potential for partnership, potential for collaboration. That's what this is all about, creating synergistic opportunities for us to thrive together. All right. Your boy, your friend, Damien Howard. Peace out.